Monica Lewis, and I'm a Navy spouse and a clinical psychologist, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about managing stress and being a military spouse. Stress is something that we as military spouses know well, and research would agree with that. Research tells us that as compared to our civilian counterparts, military spouses tend to spend more time in school, have more years of higher education, but we also have higher rates of underemployment and unemployment. When we do work, we tend to make less as a group over time, we volunteer more, and we have less local family support to help us through. Plus, we get all the unique challenges of the military lifestyle, like frequent moves, having to find a new mil-spouse tribe every 2 to 3 years, and the agony of having to say all those never-ending see you laters. Plus, we have to do a lot of single parenting when our spouses are away. We worry about the nature of our spouses' jobs and positions. There's a lot of stress involved in being a military spouse. Of course, we can't forget the deployments and the impact those deployments have on our lives, and our spouses' lives, and our families. Anyone who's living the military spouse lifestyle knows that if we're going to do this, we are going to have a life that's full of stress. Now, studies will also tell us that if we're going to have a life full of stress, we're in big trouble. We are inevitably going to feel worn out, exhausted, taxed, increasingly physically and mentally debilitated over time. So what are we to do? I'm here today to talk about a different way of thinking about stress, a way of rethinking stress, and it doesn't have anything to do with getting rid of it. If you really think about it, most of what causes us stress are not things we necessarily want to get rid of. I, for one, do not want to get rid of my husband. I don't want to get rid of my kids. I don't want to get rid of my job. I don't want to get rid of my husband's job. I don't want to get rid of my military community or the adventure that being a military spouse brings to my life. If I were to get rid of everything in my life that's associated with stress, my life would lose a lot of its meaning, a lot of its purpose. So the challenge becomes not to get rid of everything that causes us stress, but to take the stress that inherently goes along with living a meaningful life and utilize it to help us grow, connect with others, and become more successful. Is this possible? Yes, research is showing us that it is. Think about stress with me for a minute. Is stress always associated with weakness? Research would tell us no. Think about, for example, when we go to the gym. When we go to the gym, we're breaking down our muscles, we're stressing our bodies, tearing our muscle fibers, so that as they heal stronger, promoting strength. Or take our kids. When we send our 3- and 4-year-olds off to preschool, we send them off anticipating that they are going to be stressed, made to sit quietly during circle time and share their crayons, share their toys, so that they grow and learn and are ready for school. Stress creates strength. Stress creates growth. It's having this mindset that stress can be enhancing, not just debilitating, that has been shown to literally help our bodies and our brains, help us more successfully engage in our everyday challenges. A researcher named Alia Crum does research into the power of mindset. And I want to tell you today about just one of her studies that I think is pretty amazing. In her shake tasting study, Dr. Crum had hungry participants come into her lab on 2 different occasions to drink a shake. The first time they came to the lab, she had them drink a shake called the Indulgence Shake, Decadence You Deserve, with 640 calories and 30 grams of fat. The second time the participants came to her lab, she had them drink a shake called The Sensi shake, the more sensible choice, guilt-free satisfaction, with only 120 calories and 0 grams of fat. Now, on both occasions, the participants were drinking the exact same shake, marketed differently. Their mindsets were different. While they were drinking these shakes, Dr. Crum measured the amount of ghrelin in their blood. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. As we feel full, our body stops producing ghrelin. Or as we start to feel like our nutritional needs are being met, our ghrelin levels drop. So what do you think Dr. Crum finds? She finds that mindset matters. When her participants are drinking the shake that they think is full of fat and calories, the indulgence shake, their ghrelin levels drop at 3 times the rate, 3 times as much as when they're drinking the exact same shake, marketed differently. Their mindset shaped the way their bodies worked. When our perceptions change, our body responses change. So let's take our understanding of mindset, the power of mindset, and apply it to how we understand and manage stress. I'm going to talk for just a minute about a little physiology. The physiological stress response is what happens in our bodies when something we care about seems to be threatened or at stake. So our relationships, our resources, the welfare of our children or our partner. When something that we care about seems to be threatened, our body goes into a physiological stress response to help us cope. Interestingly to me, in the physiological stress response, mindset matters. There's a lot of different hormones and neurochemicals that can be released during a physiological stress response. The most common one we hear about is cortisol, which is there to give us energy for that classic fight or flight response when we sense something is threatening to us. But that's not the only thing that can be released during a physiological stress response. Depending on mindset, we can also receive adrenaline. Adrenaline gives us power. It gives us a burst of courage and bravery to step up to a challenge or to find our flow over time in challenging situations. We can receive DHEA, which is a neuropeptide that helps us think creatively and flexibly, boosting our cognitive resources. We can even receive oxytocin, which is the hug hormone, helping us connect with others, draw people in, build up our support system during times of stress. It's having the mindset that stress is enhancing instead of debilitating that has been shown to literally change the way our bodies work to help us go after the challenges that are important to us in our life. When we adopt the mindset of our stress as enhancing, it facilitates our success. So, for example, let's say you're going off to an FRG meeting for the first time in a new place, you don't know anybody, you really want to make friends, you really want to find a place in your new community, but it's stressful and it's hard and you feel that in your body. You might say, I can't do this, this is too hard, this is too stressful, I'm going to stay home. Now, if you can remember that that physiological stress response is your body giving you oxytocin to draw people in, DHEA to make you think creatively, to help you have great conversations and be witty, and adrenaline to have courage and bravery. Now I want that stress response. That stress response is a sign that my body is helping me step up to do something that deep down I really care about. That's just one example. There are so many examples, big and small, of how when we have the right mindset, we can help our bodies utilize stress as a resource to help us be successful. Have a PCS coming up? I know I do. Here's the thing about a PCS. It's not going anywhere if we avoid it. If we try to distract away from the stress associated with it. Sure, even if I go to yoga class or go for a run or read some good books or go to happy hour, those movers are still coming on the pack-out date to move me out. Rather than try to avoid the stress associated with that challenge, utilize the stress to motivate you, to help you engage, clean out some closets, organize, pack, find a new house, enroll your kids in school. It's by engaging in the stressor that the scariness, the threat of that challenge will actually go away. Now, it's through looking at our lives as Navy spouses that sometimes the bigger stressors come into focus. And I think this is a pretty common one over time for us as military spouses. Sometimes we start to feel kind of like we're not happy where we're at in life. We follow a lot of other people around. We do a lot for a lot of other people. Sometimes we can start feeling like we're not doing enough, or maybe that we're not good enough as a partner, as a parent, in terms of our own health goals, in terms of our own career goals. If you are having those feelings or those thoughts and you just push them away because they're hard, they're uncomfortable, they're stressful, they don't go away. And in fact, over time, they may get worse, which is how we find ourselves feeling hopeless, depressed, struggling with despair. It's by acknowledging that the stress is there that we can actually engage in that stressor. Remember, stress shows up when here's something that we care about. It's worth saying, okay, the stress is there. I know that this stress can help me. And then utilizing that stress to help us succeed. That we're going to get through the stressors that were causing the stress in the first place. Acknowledging the stress, seeing it as helpful, and then utilizing that stress to connect, to engage, and to grow is what's going to help us move through the stressors and the challenges of our lives as Navy spouses. And don't worry, there's always going to be another stressor around the corner. There's going to be another move. There's going to be another see you later. There's going to be another destroyment. So, remember, this is not about having stress for the sake of having stress. This is not about going out to find more stress or to create extra stress. But like we said at the beginning, in our lives as military spouses, we're going to have a lot of challenges. We're going to struggle to find jobs, to keep jobs. We're going to be ever moving our families. We're going to be worrying about the safety of our spouses. They're doing challenging things. We're going to be supporting our pilots and our sailors and our Marines and our soldiers. With all those challenges, it's going to come stress. The stress is not there to hurt you. Don't be afraid of the stress. Don't avoid the stress. The stress is there to help us, to remind us what we care about, to increase our motivation for engagement, to give our bodies and our brains what we need to be successful. Just like Dr. Crumb's research participants were able to change the way their bodies worked based upon their mindsets, we can change the way our bodies work, the way our brains work, based upon our mindset. So, do we as military spouses have a lot of stress? You bet we do. And thank goodness that it's there. Because when we have the right mindset, it's fueling and equipping us to step up and do the things that we care about the most. When we see stress as enhancing, it becomes so. Flex this stress is enhancing mindset over time and just watch the impact, the ripple effect it will have, not only on you, but on your spouse, on your children, and on building up the resiliency and the strength of our military families, our military communities, and the commands in which we serve. If you would like more information on this topic, please see the books, the TED Talks, the articles by researchers like Aaliyah Crum, Kelly McGonigal, Ian Robertson, and you can go to Dr. Crum's website at www.rethinkstress.com to learn more. Thank you.